Yeah, my name is Charles Townsend, and I'm on the board of directors. Also, primarily, I work on the historical side of things here and involved in the collection of artifacts. So I'm also a member of the Beaver County Historical Research and Landmarks Foundation, which is in up in come on, uh, yeah, up near Baden, and I'm on the board of directors there.
Cool, great. Thank you so much again for your time today. I was searching around for when we're doing our documentary for the turtle and also for Travers and trying to find like people who are connected. And the reason why I did try to reach out to you is because it gives it this more heart. It gives it more weight when people are connected to it.
Mm-hmm.
And why I'm saying that is you are connected to it because your dad used to work at the Chambers factory.
Chambers, right?
Yeah. What did they make?
Well, the primary thing that he was involved with were rides of various kinds for the amusement parks. They made the Jazz, they made the Turtle, they made the Bob Coaster, which I'll talk about it a little bit later. They made merry-go-rounds, the standard items like that, and they went. Some of their stuff was slower and smaller, so that appealed to people who were afraid of the larger rides. Yeah. But they also made the larger rides for the people that wanted thrills in life.
You said the Bobs. That you were referring to the roller coaster, right?
I'm referring to they call it the Bob Coaster when he was building it, and this was for the sesquicentennial in Philadelphia.
Right. You had told me you had some short stories about him working there. Can you share these with me?
Well, they're not happy stories necessarily.
That's fine.
I was looking over some letters that he had written to my mother. She was still in Beaver County. He was out in Philadelphia for months on end, and he wrote these really sad letters. I didn't know this side of my dad very well, but he was miserable, separated from the person he loved, living with in an apartment sort of situation with other workers. So they shared rooms, and he quite often wrote about how miserable he was and how if he had any other choices, he was thinking about, any other job. But other times, I think when he wasn't so depressed at being separated from my mother, that he told positive stories about his experiences there. The one negative story that he told, and I even heard about this verbally as a child, was that he was working high on the Bob Coaster, which was a high roller coaster. The other things he built was lower to the ground, and he didn't like heights that well. When they got to the Bob Coaster, he had problems with the heights, but he overcame that. But one time he was up drilling holes with a device, a drill of some kind, to connect in the Bob Coaster. And when he tried to pull it out, it stuck, and then he kept putting more pressure on it, and it went backwards, and just was able to catch himself with one piece of metal here before he would have plunged, obviously, to his death. So that was a time of reconsideration about what he wanted to do. Now he finished his stint there. They got everything up and running, but as soon as he was able to come back to Beaver County, he started working for a furniture company and put that experience behind.
What was the years that he worked for them? Was it?
It was mostly from the letters that I've seen, because the sesquicentennial was 1826. He began working in the winter of 1825, early 1826, right up to the time that they opened up in the summer for the sesquicentennial.
Yeah, so we could even assume, like, even today's standards, how they do produce and manufacture and then assemble these rides today, it's way different from what it was last during that time period.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the safety protocols are totally different. So that's pretty amazing to think that they would let them crawl up there to do that thing and just
yeah,
don't even have the tie to be tied in.
Not safety tied or
Yeah.
anything. Yeah.
Also, I know you shared a little bit, but I wanted with me on the phone. But I was wondering if you could really shortly, because you, if you could share. Do you have any do you have any Kennywood memories that you are crazy about?
Well, the memories I have are kind of general memories, as was, I suppose, still going on in some schools. In the spring, students were treated to a day to go to a park and enjoy that, and you'd eat there. They had buses that would take you and bring you back. Some of those days were spent at Idora, some of those years, but once in a while, then we would go to Kennywood, which was a bigger experience by far. And I can remember just the massiveness of that, the sounds, which as a farm boy, I was born and raised on a farm, was a totally different world than the one that I, had populated before that. And never having traveled to big cities, biggest city I traveled to probably by that time was Beaver Falls. So, you're kind of overwhelmed by the sights, the sounds, the number of people, the screams in the background as people rode the coaster. So, I remember doing some of the rides. I remember the one that whirled around that some kind of octopus or something, and how that was kind of a scary experience to me. Unexperienced to those kind of rides.
Yeah. Were you conscious of like the rides? At least one of the rides, possibly your dad had a hand on making?
Yeah, I don't know that. That's an interesting question, but I don't know that he worked on building any of the rides there. He might have, but it never came up in any conversation I ever had.
Cool. Do you believe rides like the Turtle and the Caterpillar that Travers built have historical significance, and why?
Well, as a historian, I think almost everything in our world has some historical significance. It's part of the architecture that has been put into the creation. So I do believe that these rides and the experiences that they have given people and the history that they have accumulated, that it's vital that we try to restore and at least a few examples of these things. As I say, as I've often told other people about historical things, you can't save everything. It's impossible to save everything. But if you save a few examples of those things down through history, then I think you've done a wonderful service for not only now, but for those coming in the future.
What do you think's so special about these rides that Travers built that we're still talking about them today? I mean, he started this business in 1920s, early 1900s,
early 1900s,
and we're still talking about today, and we're still riding them. I mean, what do you think's so special about them?
About the rides? Well, I think they were an early stage of what you see today when you go to Kennywood and you have this blistering speed and things going in circles and the excitement of these monster rides. But here was the beginning of those things, and it's how the creation unfolds. It's an unfolding process, and so you have things on a simple level as they got started, and you can now compare those with where a lot of things are today. And in some cases, the experience you have with the older, simpler things are maybe more gratifying than the high-speed screamers that you see there today.
Do you believe that maybe, it's just maybe, part of it is too that our memories and are connected to these machines. You think about it, because we go to these picnics. We mostly cling to our moments that we've done together on this earth that God has given us. And it's like, yeah, I remember that, and I wanted to continue to remake that memory.
Oh, I think that's excellent. I think that's a really good, one of the really good ways of looking at it. You can look at it from, several different angles. You can look at it, I think, very obvious. I think it's very strong relationship between people's experiences, their memories, and who they grow up to be, and what they do and say for future generations.
What's up, crazy family? Welcome to Kennywood Park, home of the last tumblebug in the world. Over the last couple years, we had an opportunity to interview many people, and one of the few questions that we asked them was, what should we teach to the next generation about Kennywood? The most of the responses that we received from our question was to teach the history of Kennywood Park to the next generation. So today, we're going to dive into the history of the ride that is right behind me, the turtle, and otherwise known as a tumblebug. What's up, crazy family? All right, man. You're home of Beaver Falls High School Tigers and of Joe Namath. It's also my home too. It's also the previous home of the Travers Engineering Company. In order to tell the story of the last tumblebug, we have to tell the story of Harry Guy Travers, the founder of Travers Engineering. He is the creator of the tumblebug.
Harry Guy Travers was born on November 25, 1877 in the town of Gardner, Illinois. Travers was a school teacher until 1898 when he attended an exposition in Omaha that influenced him into an apprenticeship in mechanical engineering. On September 11, 1906, after his apprenticeship, Travers filled a patent request with the U.S. Patent Office for the new safe circle swing. The swing sold to many amusement parks across the U.S. and created a lot of wealth for him.
In 1919, Travers bought the Zorro Amusement Device Company in Beaver Falls. It's on this land right now where that was located, behind me. He bought it off of Joseph Zorro. A year later, Harry Travers formed the Travers Engineering Company. On top of the hill up here is Patterson Township. It's where Harry Travers first bought his home and resided. Travers Engineering Company came to design and engineer many different types of flat rides, such as Laugh in the Dark, built right here where I'm standing at Kennywood in 1930. The mannequin, Laughing Sal, is the remnant of that ride at the park today.
Travers also designed and built the Rocket Swing, which was located at Idora Park, and many others. And the Caterpillar in 1923, which was once a ride at Kennywood Park, amongst other parks. He also designed and built the auto race here at Kennywood Park, which remains here today as the last of its kind.
Harry Travers also designed and built roller coasters. His coasters were the first to utilize steel for primary structural strength, although his designs were somewhat dangerous due to the excessive G-forces. The Bobs at Riverview Park in Chicago and Area Coaster at Playland Amusement Park in New York are some of the coasters he designed.
Then there's the Turtle at Kennywood Park, otherwise known as the Tumblebug, which was built in 1927. Many of these Tumblebugs were built in local parks around Pittsburgh, PA, Erie, PA areas, and across the U.S. This also includes Westview Park, which had the name of the bug until the park was closed in 1977. Also, Idora Park in Youngstown, Ohio had a tumblebug until the park closed in 1984.
Conneaut Lake Park in Crawford County, Pennsylvania, also had a tumblebug from 1925 to 2019.
I'm at Hank's Custard Stand in New Brighton, PA, which on this very ground in the early 1900s, there was a thriving amusement park here. This park was called Junction Park. There possibly was you guessed it, a tumblebug on this very property.
Although Junction Park possibly may have had a tumblebug, the Great Depression hit the nation and the park never survived along with many other parks of its time.
Although in 1924, the Travers Engineering Company once helped pave the way for Beaver County to be one of the major builders and suppliers of amusement park rides, the business struggled majorly. It came to pass in the Depression era that the company had fell on hard times and became bankrupt. So unfortunately, they had to close their doors.
In 1930, John Mitchell, who worked for the Travers Engineering Company, was one of the people to reorganize the firm as R.E. Chambers Company after Harry Travers went broke in the 1930s. The company was still around in the 1960s until the machine shop burnt down in 1968.
Today, you can find the R.E. Chambers Company's turtle-shaped cars on the Tumblebug at Kennywood. These cars were added in 1948 during a renovation. By 1926, R.E. Chambers was the last producer of the amusement rides in Beaver Falls. By 2019, most of the tumblebugs were removed from all amusement parks, except for two, those being at Conneaut Lake Park and Kennywood Park.
In 2020, Conneaut Lake Park tore down the second last tumblebug, which left the world with the only tumblebug at Kennywood Park, which remains the last tumblebug today.
Tom, what do you think is so special about the turtle?
The turtle to me was always a transition ride between kids ride and adult ride. It was something that led into roller coasters when you were too scared to ride them. That for me was always like, I was always somebody that was scared of roller coasters growing up. So going to the turtle was like a step up from the standard kiddie line rides. Those dips felt a little bit bigger when I was a child versus, obviously a true roller coaster. But that was always my transition ride. It always made me feel more comfortable riding roller coasters after I rode turtle.
Do you think that it has historical value or historical significance, and why?
Oh yeah, so as I believe the last tumblebug in the country, it has a unique element that modern rides don't give you, and even traditional rides, because they don't have them anywhere anymore. So the beauty of that little, that thing of when you're gathered with a group and you have to hold on to the wheel so you don't all slide into each other, and just those those little those dips are just a little bit, they're not, like I said, it's not a roller coaster, but the dips are big enough that it has a nice feel to it. I always loved the ride, to be honest with you.
Okay, what I think is unique about the turtle is it's one of the few rides in the park that's still manually operated. So when you get to run it, you're truly controlling how long the cycle is, and you get to send the guests around another lap if they're really having fun.
Do you think it's historically significant?
Yes. It is huge because it's one of the last in the world, and we're lucky that we have it here.
There's a few things. I love the fact that it has to back up first to get a rolling start to get over the first hill. That's one of my favorite things about it. It's just turning 80, I think you said, right?
About 80, so
one
of the 80 years.
One of the oldest rides here at the park. The Old Mill's the oldest, got the Jackrabbit, but I think that might be the third or fourth oldest ride here. Could be wrong about that, but I love it. It's a fun ride. It's a good family ride, a good starter ride for kids. Adults, I just got off of it. I actually have a video coming out later this week. and they let me film one. And I always ask for permission. But yeah, so it's just so much fun.
Do you think it has historical value?
Absolutely, it does. I mean, look how many rides since then have been similar to it, or you got rides like the kangaroo and things that have came after that. But they use the same similar mechanism that started on getting spinning, basically spinning rides. I mean, there's a lot of different mechanisms that aren't identical rides by any means. But the concept of it spinning, being attached to the center hub there.
So I think the turtle is very special because it's the last of its kind all over the world. It's definitely very amusing, very unique. The track layer is incredible, especially when you're going up and down, and it feels like you're jumping off of it. But it's like the kangaroo. Like they're both the co-rides. The turtle is definitely one of its kind.
What about you, Jack?
The thing about the turtle that is special to me would have to be the fact that it's a classic, like, peaceful kind of ride. And it's like everybody can be able to ride it. It's not just kids, there's adults and older people all coming together to ride on it. And it's like a variety.
What about you, Zach?
Last of its kind, basically. It's got a history. It was built in Beaver County, which is not too far from here. And it's just unique. It's one of its kind. And also the infamous turtle sound.
Yep, turtle.
What do you believe it has historical significance today, and why?
It's, like I said earlier, it's the last of its kind, and like because Conneaut Lake had theirs before, but obviously Conneaut Lake's probably never gonna reopen again, and the Tumble Bug there will most likely never be open again. So that turtle is very historic here, especially in Pennsylvania. It's the last one that was dedicated to us.
What about you, Zach?
Yeah, like I said, turtle is really unique. I mean, there's no ride like it anywhere. And it's going to celebrate its 100th anniversary in a few years, too.
I like about it that there's one version for the littler kids that can't ride the bigger version, and there's a big version for the people that can still ride it. Like anybody can ride it. Anybody can ride it. That's what I like about it.
It's just a cool up and down ride, and I don't know, you go fast around the curves. And
why do you think it's? Do you think it has historical value?
Yeah, because it's one of a kind.
What's so special about the turtle?
What I think is so special about the turtle is that it is the last remaining tumble bug in the entire world, and it has been a family tradition at Kennywood ever since 1927.
I like the turtle because you can see the mechanism in the middle, the spring, and it's got that classic feeling to it where it feels like a tumble bug because you rock back and forth. When you go and start, it goes backwards and forwards. And then when it gets up over the hill, you move around a lot, even though you can hold on tight. It's got that classic old style feel to it. It's a great ride. I know it's been in Kennywood for a long time because I rode it when I was this one's age. So it's a fun, energetic ride.
Do you think it has historical significance?
Yes. Yes, it does. I mean, you can't they keep saying they can't find parts for it. They have to manufacture the parts because it's just that old. So.
The longevity of the Tumble Bug at Kennywood Park is a testimony to the management of Kennywood to preserve classic rides like it. Tumble Bug at Kennywood still stands today as a part of the history
And it's also a reminder of the memories we shared together at amusement parks. The historian and author David Hayner has been quoted saying, "This is what our great-grandfathers did for recreation." I know for me, amusement parks like Kennywood has helped me create amazing personal connections and friendships. The Tumblebug always for me brings back memories of fun times spent with friends and family. I would like to thank all the people that contributed to the making of this short film, especially all of our YouTube friends. God's good all the time and love each other with mad, crazy love. All right.
Okay, we're starting out. Look, now we're heading this way. Now we're gonna go backwards and get a running start during this. So, got the, look at that, there goes the Thunderbolt right there. And there we go. We should make it over this little hill. Let's see if we'll do it. I think I can. There we go. Oh, we're right up the hill. You see down in the ravine back here? And I am holding on here, so you gotta hold on to this one because it doesn't look very intense, but it will definitely throw you around once the speed's on. There we go, now we're moving. All right, full ride on the last remaining turtle or tumblebug. There we go, up and down. And we are moving pretty good now. It is definitely smoother than I remember it being. For sure. I think speed-wise, it's a bit, okay, yep, it's about to say speed-wise. Pick up some speed. Maybe a tad slower than I remember, I don't know. It could just be my memory though. It's definitely smoother than I remember it being. And shinier, for sure. That's what's making us move right there, man. Underneath the ground is where the engine is. See that? Still cutting off the distance back there. You definitely, I think they greased up these seats when I'm sliding. I'm definitely sliding a lot, which is just part of the fun of this ride. Oh boy, it's a long ride. Still going. Okay, I think we're finishing up now. I think we're coming to slowing down a little bit. Yeah, we're definitely slowing down. So that is it. That is a full ride on the last remaining tumblebug in the world and the oldest ride at Kennywood. Oh, are they gonna go over? Nope, we're gonna go backwards a little bit.
All right, Sully, why do you like the turtle?
Because it's fun.
Turtle, but am I not turtly enough for the Turtle Club? Turtle!